SS Television, de Darshkanu, Satsriyakal. Well, growing up here, I went to high school at Turner Fenton Secondary Street, which is just down Kennedy. I've studied political science at the University of Toronto as well as at American University in Washington, D.C. I've studied English at Oxford University in England this past summer. I've worked as an intern for CTV News Bureau in Washington, D.C. I've also worked as a media coordinator for Astral Media. I've been coast to coast to coast in Canada, driven across the country. I've worked in outreach groups. I currently sit on the executive board of Students Against Hunger, which works with lower-income communities in downtown Toronto. I've worked in various capacities on previous campaigns, both federally and provincially, and I've been an avid supporter of the NDP and what they stand for all my life. I understand what people in Brampton Springdale go through. I have hundreds of friends in the East Asian community as well as other immigrant communities, and I understand the pain and the frustration that they suffer waiting for years and years to be reunited with their family members, which is unacceptable. And I have a question for the people who have immigrated here. Did we come here to be governed by a corrupt government? Did we come here to have unfair, unaffordable private health care? Did we come here so that our children would not be able to afford to attend post-secondary education and then get the skills training they need and not have to mortgage their future to do that? Did we come here to get ignored by our MPs once they're in Ottawa? Because I don't think that we did. And I think that these are issues that the NDP value. These are issues that I personally value, and these are things that we will make a priority in Ottawa. I feel that unfortunately immigration issues have been largely left off the radar with this past government in terms of surpluses that are obviously there because we've been told they're there, but that just clearly shows that the current Liberals who are in power, they don't have the political will to see any movement on immigration issues. One of the important ones is the backlog of applications. They're backed up by the hundreds of thousands. And when the resources are there, they just need to be diverted into the right places, which are a priority for any immigrant communities. It's been proven within the next 20 years, the majority of our workforce is going to be replenished 100% by new immigrants, and we're not doing enough to put the resources there to get them in to Canada in a timely manner. And there's no excuse for having families wait around 10 years for their family members to come over. When you're waiting for your parents or your grandparents to come over and finally their application gets approved, yet unfortunately they're no longer with us, to spend on tax cuts. And I don't know what you say to those people. And as an NDP member of MP, as an NDP MP in Ottawa, we won't let this happen. We will make it an issue, because it's unacceptable. I think another important issue that I will definitely raise on behalf of the people of Brampton, Springdale, and Ottawa is the question of why we have thousands of people who have to wait years to get visitation visas, when obviously it is in the minister's power to grant these visitation visas when they can have their celebrity friends jump to the front of the line, as is the case with Martha Stewart in October. Another thing that I'd like people to consider is the painful situation we have here when we have doctors and physicians and physicists and engineers driving cabs, doctors driving cabs, and at the same time we claim that we have a doctor shortage in Canada. So there's queues in emergency rooms, there's a backlog of availability for surgeries. We have to wait a few months. Waiting lines have increased. Waiting times have doubled in the past 12 years under Liberal rule. They've allowed the creeping privatization of healthcare, and this is going to do nothing to alleviate the pressure on the current public system, which is established so that everyone that comes to Canada has fair and affordable access to the services they need. The NDP did not support a corrupt government. What the NDP did back in the spring was they used their position, 19 MPs, forced the Liberals to actually achieve something for Canadians, for people. They did not support the corrupt government. What they did was they achieved, they took their tax cuts out and they reinvested their tax cuts into things that affect our everyday lives, like healthcare, like education, like the environment. And in closing, I'd like to ask people to think about the unity of Canada and how that's been jeopardized by the mismanagement and the poor governance of the Liberals. They have caused a serious threat to the unity of our country. They've insulted people in Quebec. They've plundered Canadian tax dollars, and we must kick the Liberals out if we want to restore some integrity to our country. I'd also like at this point to make an appeal for support for my campaign. If you agree with the values that I agree, if you believe in the same values that I believe in, and if you think that together we can make a difference, which we can, I'd like to ask for your support in this campaign.